This is the censor studio for continuous learning. Prime Minister Ishiba resigned unexpectedly after 11 months in office. After Prime Minister Ishiba resigned, Japanese politicians have debated who will be the next prime minister. Today, let's take a closer look at this topic. Let's get right into it. As you all know, Prime Minister Ishiba was defeated in both the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors. This is the first time since the party was founded in 1955 that it has lost the majority in both houses at the same time. On top of that, Prime Minister Ishiba's approval rating was also continuously declining. As a result, the Liberal Democratic Party continued to call for Prime Minister Ishiba's removal. After losing July's House of Councilors election, Prime Minister Ishiba faced calls for accountability in the Liberal Democratic Party, but insisted on keeping his administration. He tried to control anti-Ishiba factions in the Liberal Democratic Party by considering dissolving the House of Representatives or calling a general election. But the backlash within the Liberal Democratic Party was too strong. As Prime Minister Ishiba mentioned dissolving the House of Representatives, criticism grew from both the ruling and opposition parties that Prime Minister Ishiba was trying to dissolve the parliament just to hold on to his position as Prime Minister. Prime Minister Ishiba was not well respected within the Liberal Democratic Party. He was known as the opposition in the Liberal Democratic Party and always took a non-mainstream path. Although Prime Minister Ishiba had public support, Lee Ji-ha became Prime Minister because Ishiba lacked party control. He ran in the Liberal Democratic Party leadership election 4 times since 2008, but failed due to a lack of party control. It was so bad that even Prime Minister Ishiba's aides urged him to attend faction dinners, showing his lack of personal connections. This shows how little he managed his relationships. This lack of control within the party ended up coming back to Prime Minister Ishiba. Prime Minister Ishiba said he will not resign. To remove Prime Minister Ishiba, the Liberal Democratic Party considered an early leadership election, signaling no confidence in the Prime Minister. On September 8, they plan to poll 295 lawmakers and 47 regional branch representatives, totaling 342 people, to decide on an early leadership election. If over 172 people support an early leadership election, it can be moved up. If more had voted in favor, Prime Minister Ishiba would have had to resign. This was clearly a negative development for Prime Minister Ishiba, but public opinion was not necessarily favorable toward him either. A Yomiuri Shimbun poll found 161 in favor, 50 against, and 131 no response indicating strong support. A Fuji television survey had 151 in favor, 56 against, and 135 no response. Therefore, Prime Minister Ishiba had no choice but to resign. Prime Minister Ishiba held a press conference at the Tokyo Prime Minister's office on September 7 to announce his resignation. Prime Minister Ishiba said he still saw work to do, but made the painful choice to resign. He added that pushing for an interim party leadership vote would only divide the party. Prime Minister Ishiba had a strong will to maintain his administration, but he admitted that it became too difficult to withstand the pressure from the situation centered around the Ishiba faction. Prime Minister Ishiba resigned with over 2 years left in his term. Who will be the next prime minister? Since Japan is a parliamentary cabinet system country, like ours, the president is elected by the people and the leader of the party with the majority of seats becomes the prime minister. The next prime minister is decided after the Liberal Democratic Party presidential election and then a nomination vote in the National Diet, but usually the person who wins the Liberal Democratic Party presidential election becomes the prime minister. Looking at the current situation, Prime Minister Ishiba seems to be supporting Shinjiro Koizumi, the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, who is also famous among us as Funkool Sexy. Prime Minister Ishiba even called Shinjiro Koizumi, the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, to the Prime Minister's residence on the night of September 6, the day before announcing his resignation, and had a 2-hour meeting with him. There are 2 main candidates. They are Sanae Takeichi, the former Minister for Economic Security with strong right-wing tendencies, and Shinjiro Koizumi, who is famous for his unique style. Shinjiro Koizumi, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, has been gaining popularity recently. Shinjiro Koizumi was appointed as the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries in the Ishiba administration and is receiving positive reviews for contributing to the stabilization of rice prices. No matter who becomes prime minister, they will face major challenges as the Liberal Democratic Party is now a minority ruling party. Because of this, it is important who can better lead cooperation with the opposition parties. Currently, without cooperation from Komeito and some opposition parties, passing the budget or legislation is difficult. Because of this, looking at just this aspect, it seems that Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Koizumi would have the advantage. Former Prime Minister Suga, who considers himself the mentor of Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Koizumi, is providing him with strong connections within the Japanese political world. Currently, there are observations that Yuichiro Tameki, who is rapidly expanding his influence, would also find it easy to cooperate with Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Koizumi. Additionally, the Liberal Democratic Party has a Koizumi team faction, indicating his strong position in the party. Some analysts say former Economic Security Minister Sanae Takeichi, known for her strong right-wing views, could help the Liberal Democratic Party regain conservative votes lost to parties like Sanseido and the Democratic Party for the People. In any case, whoever takes the position is expected to face a difficult time running the government. It would be good to take a look at the results of public opinion polls. According to a recent public opinion poll conducted by the Yomiuri Shimbun, former Economic Security Minister Sanai Takaichi was ranked first as the most suitable politician for the Liberal Democratic Party president with 24%, while Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Shinjiro Koizumi came in second with 21%. The poll found former Economic Security Minister Sanai Takaichi had stronger support. Former Economic Security Minister Sanai Takaichi seems strongly supported by the younger generation. However, despite that, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Shinjiro Koizumi still seems more likely to become the party leader. The reason is that ordinary voters cannot participate in the Liberal Democratic Party leadership election. It is decided solely by the votes of Liberal Democratic Party members and affiliated lawmakers. Analysts say Minister Shinjiro Koizumi holds a stronger party position than former Economic Security Minister Sanai Takaichi, giving Koizumi the advantage. According to a recent poll conducted by the Nihon Keizai Shimbun, 32% of Liberal Democratic Party supporters favor Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Shinjiro Koizumi, putting him in first place, while 17% support former Economic Security Minister Sanai Takaichi, who is in second place. This suggests that Koizumi may very well become the next prime minister. Japan's new prime minister is expected to impact Korea-Japan relations. Since Prime Minister Ishiba worked very hard to improve Korea-Japan relations, there are predictions that no matter who becomes the next prime minister, the relationship between the two countries is likely to regress. At the 80th anniversary memorial for war dead, Prime Minister Ishiba reflected on the war, the first such mention by a Japanese prime minister in 13 years. On August 23, he met President Lee Jae-myung and discussed United States negotiations. Prime Minister Ishiba is known for not visiting the Yasukuni Shrine, where Pacific War Class A war criminals are enshrined, even before his term. At the press conference, Prime Minister Ishiba highlighted diplomatic achievements, stating he had a productive meeting with President Lee Jae-myung and stressed unity with Asian countries. Takaichi, ex-Minister of Economic Security and top Prime Minister candidate, is a hardline right-wing politician. She visits the sensitive Yasukuni Shrine in Korea 3 times yearly without fail. In last year's Liberal Democratic Party leadership race, she said she would keep visiting Yasukuni Shrine as prime minister, would block Korea from building more Dokdo-related structures, and denied Korean forced labor during Japan's colonial rule. Therefore, it seems better for Korea if Koizumi becomes Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries. Koizumi, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, is more flexible on Korea-Japan relations than former Economic Security Minister Takaichi. He previously visited Korea and paid respects at the National Cemetery. But since Minister Koizumi also visited Yasukuni Shrine on August 15th, Korea-Japan relations likely won't improve as much as under Prime Minister Ishiba. Then, what issue should the next Prime Minister address first? In fact, the most urgent task the next Prime Minister will face right away is the issue of foreigners. Japan has the world's fastest aging population, and its workforce shrinks yearly. Encouraging childbirth alone won't stop population decline, so more people are saying expanding foreign workers and immigration is necessary. Japanese society remains conservative about accepting foreigners, though the government has opened the labor market since the Abe administration. However, several problems have arisen from this. The growing number of foreign residents, tourists, and workers in Japan has led to various social issues. As a result, resentment toward foreigners grew. This also became a major factor in the rise of the Participation Party. The Liberal Democratic Party must address the issue of foreigners now. If the next prime minister ignores it, Japanese society will soon become polarized. The number of foreigners in major cities like Tokyo and Osaka is steadily rising. We'll have to wait and see what decision will be made, but it seems clear that a decision will be made to resolve the issue of foreigners. Let's also take a look at security issues. Japan has already since last year. This is unheard of in Japan's post-war history. At the same time as strengthening security cooperation with the United States, it shows a determination to respond to threats from China and North Korea. The problem is public opinion. Raising taxes to fund defense is unavoidable, but doing so during economic instability and inflation could spark significant backlash. In other words, the next prime minister stands at a critical crossroads that will determine Japan's economic and security policies. Whether Japan will turn this crisis into an opportunity for a new leap forward or fall into even greater turmoil will become clear in the coming months. Who do you think will be the next prime minister? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.